Paying off your mortgage early, pros and cons. My man Michael has sent this me about almost 2 months ago now. I've been meaning to get to it for a while. So this let's go into this. This is pretty funny, man. So let's dive into this. Let me make sure I got my whiteboard because we're gonna need to. Oops, I just knocked over my light, my shining light. See, that's what happens when you shine on you. Oosh, I don't like that at all. Oosh. Too much. Showing my Botox. Which I did not get Botox. I don't think I ever will, but you never know. Maybe I'll get vain. I said, I gotta be a Hollywood elite. Let's turn this one. All right. So here are these two guys. They're obviously concerned about paying off their mortgage early. I'm not sure if I was worried about paying off my mortgage early if I'd have that look. That looks like a very apprehensive look. So we're going to dive into this because there's some stuff in here I want to share with you. All right. Sponsored by Credible, which is a majority owned by our parent Fox Corporation, is solely responsible for its services. I don't know what that means. And this is Carissa Chappelle. A home mortgage will likely be your biggest and lengthiest investment. If you're like many owners, you have a 30-year mortgage and seemingly never-ending monthly payments. Whether it's 3 decades or 20 years, the debt doesn't go away easily, and it constantly weighs on you when you plot your financial goals. This is some borrowers dreaming about how to pay off their mortgage in a way to eliminate that bill. It's not an insurmountable task paying off your debt, but it can be done with proper planning. The first thing you should do is explore your home loan options. Okay, Credible is a home loan option site. Okay, gotcha. So should you pay off your mortgage? There is no clear-cut answer on whether to pay off your mortgage early. The best option really depends on your situation. You may be thinking, what is the downside to paying off a loan early? Well, you'd be surprised. While it's nice to no longer be burdened by hundreds of dollars of monthly mortgage payments, there are actually some downsides. So it says Pierce, who runs the online mortgage lender, Better.com, says it's hardly black and white. Before making it, let's see what pros of paying off your mortgage early. You don't have to make any monthly payments anymore, and you have peace of mind knowing that your home is your own. Well, other than the county, right? By eliminating that monthly payment, you'll have more disposable cash on hand each month. There'd be no need to squirrel away extra mortgage money. The extra cash can go to things like hobbies, travel, blah, blah, blah. Looking forward to finish up your monthly mortgage payments once for all. Credible so basically a big ad for this Credible company. So there's some obvious pros of paying off a mortgage. You save money on interest. You improve your credit worthiness. You don't have the outstanding debt and thus the imputed income, which I've talked about a million times here. Let's see. Okay. Saving money by interest. Yep. All right. Cons of paying off your mortgage could leave you short for paying other debt. Although paying your mortgage off early eliminates one bill, using the bulk of your disposable cash on the mortgage could leave you short for paying off other debt or just other expenses. I completely agree with that. 100%. Especially I had a guy, when I was doing my thing on Kim yesterday, had a guy, he said, well, why doesn't she just pay off her, she has $80,000 on her mortgage on the house that they're going to get in Amarillo. He goes, why doesn't she just pay it off? I said, man, once you first go into retirement, you don't want to be stressed your liquidity. You want to make sure you got liquid assets because you just don't know what it's going to be. An $80,000 mortgage, or debt, that's not going to make or break you. But if you were to use some of your liquidity to pay off that $80,000, you just don't know, man. Cash is king. Now, once she's a couple years into retirement, yeah, I'd pay it off then. But for the time being, no way, Jose. All right. Mortgage likely costs less than other types of debt, so they're saying don't pay off your mortgage at the expense of other debt. I completely agree with that. Prepayment penalty. You eliminate the tax deduction. One of the greatest benefits of home ownership is the tax deduction that comes with it. Today's interest rates are historic lows, and mortgage interest can be deducted from your taxable income, further reducing the cost. Very few people are taking a tax deduction anymore, man. I'm sorry. But here's the big one. There are other considerations for homeowners in deciding to pay off their mortgage early. For instance, having a mortgage on your home de-risks your exposure to it. For example, if you own 20% of your home and the bank owes 80% and the home value falls by 50%, then your losses are capped at 20%. If you paid off your mortgage and you own 100%, then you're going to lose a full 50. Oh, that's so friggin' stupid. Oh my goodness. First, a house losing 50% in value. Come on, man. That's all right, but let's just say it did. All right, so you owe we got $100,000 house. So we're just gonna do like this. 100,000. Let's do like this here. Actually, make myself bigger. 100,000 a house. We got equity of 20,000. We got debt of 80,000. All right. So we got $100,000 of the house. We got equity of 20,000. We got debt of 80. The house now drops to 50,000. All right. That's what the house is worth. This right here is wiped out. So the equity is gone because we lost the equity. And now the debt, what's the debt though? Is a debt lost value? No, the debt's still 80. I still owe 80,000 bucks. I still have this as I still owe that, but I have no equity. So the idea that my losses are capped, well, I'm upside down with no equity. I'm upside down with no equity. Now, could I walk away from it? Sure. Could I get foreclosed? Sure. I can't sell it because the house is worth less than my debt. So, I could give it to the bank. I get all that. Aren't we trying to avoid that, though? I mean, we recognize in 2008, people were doing that, sending the keys back, but you still need a place to live. Huh? I mean, you still have to buy. You still have an expense. You still have an expense. The idea that your losses are limited is still 100% loss on your equity. I mean, that's just silly, man. You didn't cap your losses at 20%. Your losses are still 100%. You lost 100% of your equity. Now, you could say, well, I have this money over here or something else. Well, you think if you were just to walk away and the bank is going to say, okay, thanks. Now we take the $50,000 house for which you have a $80,000 debt, and we're just going to, just easy peasy write that off? No, they're going to go after you and say, what if you have kept other money in other accounts? We want that money, and rightly so. You signed the dotted line. That's just stupid. So let me show you one of the benefits of equity, though, of leverage. I think a lot of people miss this. All right, so we buy a $100,000 house. We pay 20% down. All right, so that's 20% down. And so that means we have $20,000 of equity, and we have loan. All right, so we have $20,000 of equity. All right, we have a $100,000 house, $20,000 of equity, $80,000 loan. Now the house goes up 20% in value. Actually, let me just redo this a little bit. This will be easier if I do it a different way. All right, so we got equity, loan, 80, V 20. Okay, so here's how we're looking at this. We got $20,000 of equity. The house is $100,000 fair market value. We got $80,000 as the loan. $80,000 is what would actually be called the leverage. Now the house goes up to 120, which is more likely than going down 50%. But let's just say it goes up with the course of 5 years to 120,000 bucks. Let's just say we didn't pay any debt. So it's just the bank said you can 5 years in the house with no payments. What happens here? How much debt do we have? How much leverage? How much of a loan? We still have 80,000 bucks. How much equity do we have here? Well, now we have $40,000 of equity. All right, because the equity also went up by the increase in the house. So what was before $20,000 of equity is now $40,000 of equity. Does that make sense? So what have we've leveraged this $80,000 to get us $100,000, and the leverage worked out insanely well because now we have 100% increase on our equity, our ROE. 100% increase on our equity because before we only had $20,000 of equity. Now we have $40,000 of equity. Because the house went up by 20%. The house only appreciated by 20%, but our equity appreciated by 100. I hope that makes sense. That is how leverage works. So the house itself, so the house went from 100 to 120, which is a 20% increase. The equity went from 20 to 40, which is a 100% increase. Let me show you you see what I'm saying? So the house went from $100,000 to 120, 20% increase. Our equity, because we only put $20,000 down, went to $40,000, which is a doubling, 100% increase in our equity. That's how leverage works. And that's how, if you're looking at stocks, by the way, and you're looking at ROE, and everyone says, oh my goodness, the return on equity is through the roof. Well, yeah, because a lot of times you can get an ROE just by taking leverage. And if it works out for you, it's great. If it doesn't work out for you on a stock, which is an intangible asset, unlike a house which you're actually living in, especially if you don't plan to sell, who cares what the fair market value is? But if it works out for you in a stock, that's freaking awesome. But that's luck a lot of times, a lot more times than not. It's great. It's great you got that house to work for you, that leverage to work for you. But if it's a stock, an intangible asset, it could go the other way, like what happened in World War to start the Great Depression, and now you're jumping out the 34th window of Wall Street. All right, and we hope this makes sense. The idea that your losses are capped, well, they're not. Your 100% equity is gone. That's not a capped loss. That's just stupid. So, love to hear your thoughts. Thanks, now.